Afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's jump straight in and see what there is to talk about this afternoon. Let's start with this one. Ryan Garcia warns Javonte Davis he better start training his chin. I like it. I don't mind a bit of trash talk sometimes. Look, not long to go, right? What, we 5 weeks away, April 22nd. Big fight. Has that big fight feeling. It is a big fight. I spoke to... Who did I speak to? Garcia Davis, and we're kind of going back and forth on what we think this will do on pay-per-view. And he thinks it will get close to 800,000. That's big. That's massive, massive numbers. They did their 2-city press conference tour already. One in New York, one in LA. And that's it now. Both of them go away. They train, make sure they make weight, and get ready for what's going to be, I think, the hardest fight for both of them. This is a difficult fight for Javonte, just because of Ryan's speed and that famed left hook. And this is a difficult fight, very, very difficult fight for Ryan, just because he knows at some time he's going to get clipped. Like, he knows, he must expect it. He's going to get clipped. Can he take Tank's power? I don't think he can, but look, I look forward to it. De La Hoya, optimistic to make cross-promotional fights with Heyman moving forward. I mean, look, they're all going to, at the end of this fight, April 22nd, they're all going to look at the numbers and think, okay, we need to do more of this. If they've got the right opponents, right? I mean, one that it looks like they both have now is Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Looks like Terence Crawford's going to ink a deal with Golden Boy. Then I guess if they can make Tank and Ryan, why can't they make Errol and Terence? That's the hope anyway. I'm not optimistic, but we'll see. British Boxing Board of Control concerned by the rise of misfits boxing. I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, like, I work on those events, and I can understand why there is concern there. I think one thing that misfits has to get right going forward is the medicals have to be correct. I think there's a conversation for headgear. I guess it depends. There was this study done recently, wasn't there, about the benefits of headgear. Like, is it really beneficial? And I think it must be beneficial. So they might even have to look at the gloves these guys are wearing. I mean, I know for the tag team boxing, they wore 16-ounce gloves. For the normal boxing, they just wear the usual gloves. So I do wonder if they might have to look at wearing sort of bigger gloves as well. It'll be interesting. It's interesting to know, or would be interesting to know, if Mams, who does misfits, has had a conversation with the British Boxing Board of Control about the safety of these fights. But yeah, I can understand why the British Boxing Board of Control is slightly concerned by this. It's not just misfits. There's a lot of this going on. Kingpin have now started something. It's the rise of YouTube boxing. And remember, these fights don't have to be sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. They're not sanctioned because they're not pro fights. But there are pro fighters fighting in them. Idris Virgo, pro fighter. Anthony Taylor, I believe, pro fighter. So they have to get this correct if they want this to continue going forward. That's misfits I'm talking about. Francis Ngannou hopes to secure a 2-fight deal for Deontay Wilder. Yeah, we spoke about this the other day. It looks like this is the route Ngannou's going to go down. There's a lot of talk about, could it be Tyson Fury? Could it be AJ? I think Derek Chisora's name got brought up a lot, but Deontay Wilder's the one that makes sense. It's the biggest one for me. I mean, two wrecking machines when it comes to punching. So, and look, I mean, look, Deontay Wilder can box, by the way. I think people like to critique Wilder about his technique. He can box. I think it doesn't help that your last three prior to Helenius were Tyson Fury. So it makes it maybe look like you can't box. He's not the worst, but he's also not the best either. So for Ngannou, this could just be a straight shootout, a 2-round shootout. And boy, if it is that, Ngannou can most certainly knock out Wilder. But obviously, you'd have to make Wilder the favourite. All right, let's stick with heavyweight boxing. Obviously, you guys have seen the fun now. Sometimes you get tired of talking about a subject over and over and over again. I mean, the amount of times I did videos on Tyson Fury versus AJ and it didn't happen, or Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford didn't happen. You feel like you just waste your time talking about this stuff. And that's what puts a lot of people off the sport of boxing, like all this talking and no fighting. I do think there will be a fight April 29th. And a lot of people have reached out to me and said, Ade, man, Fury's ducking Usyk. He's scared of Usyk. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And look, it's easy for me to almost I wouldn't say attack Fury, but it's easy to me to dig out Fury, right? He's not a DAZN fighter. He's not AJ. I mean, I'm not going to get reprimanded by anyone, but I don't want to dig him out because I don't believe he is ducking Oleksandr Usyk. I most certainly don't believe he's scared of Oleksandr Usyk. Do I believe he understands that this is going to be a difficult fight? Yeah, of course he does. Do I think he's greedy? Absolutely. He's about his money. Don't be fooled by all that charity talk and fight for free. That kid is about his money, and he's got what he wants. He wanted 70%. He probably wanted a bit more than that, by the way, but he's got his 70%. Is his 70% still what he would have wanted for the fight to be in Saudi Arabia? No. So in his head, he's probably thinking, I'm taking less money to fight you, if that makes any sense, because he wanted big money to fight in Saudi Arabia, big money. He's not going to get anywhere near that, but he's still going to get the lion's share of the purse, right? I mean, again, 70% of what I think would do very, very good numbers on pay-per-view. I think Wembley Stadium will be sold out. I even think they'll put the ticket prices up a bit as well. So he's going to walk away with a lot of money. Now, do I think there's a part of him that would like to stall and delay this for a month or two? Yes, that's where I think Tyson Fury's at. Remember, this fight, April 29th, is 6 weeks away. Now, if Tyson Fury, I think, likes to tick over in the gym. I don't think he's a guy that just stops and then gets into fight camp. I think he's a guy that likes to go to the gym and train and tick over and spar and whatever else he does. But for a fight of this magnitude, and I think Tyson Fury put on his Instagram that he's just starting fight camp now. For a fight of this magnitude, you want 8 to 9 weeks minimum, I think, to really be in tip-top condition, because he's going to need to be. Oleksandr Usyk makes you work. It makes you work to the point where you are very, very uncomfortable. Takes you out of your comfort zone. Makes you breathe heavy. Again, I've been lucky enough to have seen him up close and personal twice now. This guy doesn't stop fucking working. And I think Tyson Fury, who, to be fair, looks like he's got a fantastic gas tank as well, he's going to have to work, I think, unless he can knock Usyk out, which I don't think he will. He's going to have to work for every single second of every round for 12 rounds. And I think for that, he would want to have an 8 to 9 week training camp. Like, if Tyson Fury could sign on the dotted line right now for May 29th, he's signing right now. He's signing right now. Bear in mind, by the way, no contracts have been signed. I mean, here we are, March 11th, March 12th? No contracts have been signed as yet, which is great. Again, for the biggest fight that can be made this year, if not for the last few years, no contract has been signed, which is mental. A lot of talk about Tyson Fury and this rematch clause video that he did. Now, a lot of people are, this is fantastic. Tyson Fury is asking for the rematch clause to be removed. Well, no. What Tyson Fury is doing here is stalling. That's what he's doing, because, look, if Usyk agreed to 70-30 first time round, trust me, in the rematch clause that Tyson Fury, according to Usyk, put in, Usyk would have said, okay, we're doing 50-50 in the rematch. That's what we're doing. If we do it again, we're going 50-50. So for Tyson Fury to say, rip up the rematch clause, if you're Usyk, you're like, well, 1 second. No, we're not ripping up the rematch clause that you asked for, because in the rematch clause, I get what I want finally. I get my 50-50. Now, if we do a rematch and there is no contract there for a rematch clause, then I'm going to have to go to the table with you again, and this is all going to happen again. And you're going to start saying 70-30 if you win, or 80-20. I want the rematch clause, and I'm talking from an Usyk standpoint, to favour me a little bit, because I've given you all you wanted in the first fight. So when Tyson Fury is saying, rip up the rematch clause, people don't fall for that shit. This is Tyson Fury basically saying that everything we negotiated in the rematch clause, which might have favoured you a little bit, doesn't count. And if you're Usyk, you're like, no, 1 second, bro. No, 1 second. Look, by the way, I don't like rematch clauses. I don't like them. But sometimes they're a necessity to get the first fight done. Because whoever has maybe taken a bit of low ball in the first fight will think that in the rematch clause, for once, I kind of get my way just a little bit. So sometimes they're very, very important, especially in the big fights. In the smaller fights, I get rid of them, throw them away. But in the big fights, I kind of can understand the importance of them. So again, for those of you that are applauding Tyson Fury, you might have to sort of open up your vision a little bit and kind of see what he's doing. He's a smart, you know what? For all the swearing and all, Tyson, like when Tyson Fury puts out those videos and he Tyson Fury is a very, very smart individual. Very, very smart. So I always watch them videos and I think, oh, is there an ulterior motive to what you're doing? And in this one, I think there is. In this one, I certainly think there is. Because for Oleksandr Usyk, again, for kind of to say, all right, fuck it, 70-30, the rematch clause must favour him a little bit if he were to win. It must. That's my thinking of it. So look, we'll see how it plays out. But again, to end on it, I do think the fight happens April 29th. And I do favour Tyson Fury to beat Oleksandr Usyk just. I think Oleksandr Usyk's going to give him fucking hell. And it's going to be an incredible fight. And no doubt, if we're not there, and I don't think BT Sports will let DAZN be there, we're doing a watch along. But it should be fun. Tim Tszyu pushing for July date with Jermell Charlo in Vegas. Big fight now. I mean, it was, I felt like it was already a decent fight between Tim Tszyu and Charlo. Now it's a big one. Now, by the way in which Tim Tszyu destroyed Tony Harrison, this is now a big fight. And I look forward to it. And I do think it will be Jermell's last fight at 154. And then obviously we'll see what he can do at 160. And I think he can do a lot. Javonte Davis admits that Ryan Garcia will be the most difficult opponent of his career. Yeah, he will be. It's the hand speed. It's the hand speed. It's the magnitude of the fight, right? All the nerves that kick in. This is the one. This is... Like, Javonte can't afford to get slept by Ryan. Cannot afford it. I think Ryan can almost afford to get slept by Javonte. Like, Javonte's built up this I can't be beaten kind of thing with him. It'll be difficult for him to recover from a loss. I think for Ryan, you've already got a couple of inbuilt excuses, right? You drain me down to 136, the rehydration clause. Whereas for Javonte, I don't think you can afford to lose it, man. I hate doing that because the best fighting the best really doesn't matter, right? You know, it's okay. But for Javonte, the way in which he's said so many times that he will sleep Ryan, it's difficult. Carlos Takam wants to get his hands on Martin Bakole. Is he ready? Like it. I like that fight. Man, look, I always want Carlos Takam to get a couple more paydays. What is he? He's a man that's 42, 43. Fights anyone, everyone, right? It'd be nice for him to get a payday. And for Bakole as well. Bakole's looking for an opponent, isn't he? So why not those two on Boxer, Sky Sports? Makes sense, man. Let's hope. Let's hope that both of them get what they want. I don't know if Bakole wants Takam. If you're Bakole, you want to somehow get in that mix. Like if I'm Bakole, I'm screaming for the rooftops for Hrgovic. That's what I'm screaming for. If not Hrgovic, a Joseph Parker, although coming off a loss, it was to Joe Joyce. So someone like that. I don't know what he gets if you're Bakole for fighting Carlos Takam. I know what Carlos Takam gets for fighting Martin Bakole. Anything else we have here? Bellew is backing Oleksandr Usyk to shock Tyson Fury and become undisputed. As much as people might say, oh, Bellew hates Fury and blah, blah, blah. Bellew's talking from a standpoint of someone that was in there against Oleksandr Usyk. So before you guys dig out Bellew, and I know how you like to dig out Bellew. Bellew's such a great guy, by the way. I can't tell how good he is. Before you dig him out, understand that he's talking from his own experience of, I've been in there with that guy, and that guy is just so good. A bit here about the back and forth between Kell Brook and Conor Benn, which has almost come from nowhere again. Errol Spence has tweeted and said, Kell beat that wanker ass, laughing out loud, and then he's done a needle picture. I mean, Eddie's been saying that there's a few names, isn't he? He did say, what did he say? He said there's Manny Pacquiao, I think Adrian Broner, and he said one more. I wonder if the one more could be Conor Benn. I think that's what he said. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it happens. Anything else here at all? Boy, all it is here, all I'm seeing is so many different messages, Instagram and Twitter messages from Oleksandr Usyk to Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury to Oleksandr Usyk. It wouldn't shock me if this has already been agreed and they've shaked hands behind the scenes and they're like, all right, let's start promoting it. Let's start doing this. I don't know. With boxing, honestly, guys, you really don't know. You really don't know. All right, I think this is, I'm happy. Look at this. This is what I've been, they watch these videos. I've been screaming for the rooftops for this fight. Kambosos versus Maxi Hughes. You know why? Because Maxi Hughes was linked with a fight with Gary Cully. He doesn't want to fight Gary Cully in Ireland. Like, Maxi Hughes is the IBO lightweight champion. I know, say what you want about that belt, but he beat Giovanni Straffon for that belt, which was a good win at the time. And then most recently beat Kid Galahad, who jumped up a couple of weights. Why are you going to want to fight Gary Cully? You want a name. You know, Eddie's promised you a name. And now all of a sudden it looks like you might get that name. And that name's George Kambosos. Now, I don't know if this is the DAZN matchroom thing, because I did recently read that Maxi Hughes is a free agent. So this might just be a case of him doing it himself. Look, good on him. Go and get paid. He wants that big fight. This is a big fight. Kambosos, former undisputed, right? Pretty much. Was he? He was undisputed, wasn't he? Did he have the WBC at the time? I think he was anyway. But look, a guy that had all those belts, that's what you want. And for Kambosos, you know, winning the IBO kind of puts you back in the picture a little bit, doesn't it? All right, girls, guys, peace and love.